It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission really is to provide you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Elyse Wagner. She's in the building. And she'll be talking about something in terms of planning for your health, happiness, and success. What's going on, Elyse? How are you?
Hello. I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for being here. We certainly appreciate it. Folks will go read your bio. They'll see how famous you are, and they'll Google you and all that cool stuff. But I'm curious. We're talking about, I'll just start off with happiness and success. And before we get started about why people are struggling to be happy, I mean, they got everything it seems like you need these days. What is your definition of happiness these days? Because it does mean different things to different people. So I'm just curious. When you use the word happiness, what's your frame of reference, please?
Such a great question. And I 100% agree that it is unique to each individual person. My personal definition of happiness is being able to wake up each day in a space of gratitude and to do the things, I get to do these lovely things that just light me up and keep me in what I call, and what we probably, maybe you've heard of, if you haven't, there's a great book by Gay Hendricks. It's called The Big Leap. But being in our zone of genius, like that thing that really lights you up, whatever that is for you, that to me is happiness.
So we just heard about what is happiness. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. Let's swing to the other side. Yeah, I'm curious what the definition of success is, and which we're talking about what success looks like. And before we get to that, let me just ask this question. I'm just curious. I'm probably the only one that's curious, by the way. Why are people still struggling to achieve happiness for where we are in the world today? I mean, they've got Instagram. They should be able to pop up on their phone in a minute and get instant gratification. They can then go anywhere to ChatGPT and say, how do I be happy today? They'll play a song for them, do whatever they need. So I'm just curious. It may sound overly silly, but it's so true. Why are folks struggling to achieve a level of happiness as you just described it?
Well, I don't know if there's a one, cut and dry answer, right? I think there's a lot of different things going on. I think one of the reasons we're not happy is because we're constantly looking. You talked about bringing up the phone, right? We're constantly looking at something else, someone else's life. That's just a small little portion of what they're doing. We don't even know if that's, real life. And so I think that's part of it is we've been kind of trained and conditioned to look outside of ourselves for happiness and success, right? But we need to really look within and ask ourselves the question, what really does make me happy? What makes me joyful? What makes me, feel lighter and brighter? And if your answer, I'm a huge advocate of, sourcing yourself. Like you are your greatest source of wisdom. You know more about your life and yourself than anyone else on this planet does. And so asking yourself that question and really allowing that answer to bubble up can be pretty insightful.
I love where you went there, by the way. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being transparent, because I think you're spot on. There are many different ways and many different reasons. But it does beg the question, happiness versus success. Are they one and the same? You were very clear. We're going to have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, I'm going to get to health. Don't worry about that. But hey, we're going to have a plan for your health to give you some ideas and your happiness and success. And I'm curious, are happiness and success one and the same? Or when you're talking about success, what are you referencing? What are you referring to? I know for me, at one point, I was having success with just being able to pay my mortgage. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a time. I'm probably the only one out there as an entrepreneur, so I'll stand alone on this island. But I'm curious, success, what does that look like? What does that mean these days for you?
Well, success for me is doing what I love to do, which right now means making an impact in other people's lives. That's number one. If I can, each morning I wake up, my feet hit the floor, and I say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who can I serve today? I know I'm on this planet, on this earth. If you're listening and watching this, you are here for a reason, for a purpose. There's something within you. There is a gift within you that you have to give to the world. I think part of the journey to success is finding that plan, or finding that gift. And you can certainly, we can get to the planning. The finding that gift, right, will help you to I think shine outwards your success. I mean, again, everyone has a different definition of success. Sometimes that is a monetary definition. Sometimes that's about fame and the fortune, all that kind of thing. But what I've really learned is that success is really measured internally. We all get this opportunity to create that definition for ourselves, and it can change, can absolutely change. So, and then once you find something that you feel successful in and with, what are the ways that you can stick with it? I think one of the best quotes I've heard is by Robin Sharma, who's a leadership guru, and he talks about one of the fastest ways to obsolescence is, especially if you're at your high point in your success road, one of your fastest ways to obsolescence is to just kind of stop what you're doing, right? Once you get to that success point, the idea is to keep going with that and not let it go, right? Oh, I'm successful, stop everything. No, no, no. That's not the point.
I love it, but spot on. And folks, I know we got started and I jumped right into it. And you probably want to know who in the LL Cool J is this woman on the other side. Is talking about success, talking about happiness. What's her backstory? Why is health in the beginning? Well, I think health is the most important part. So before we get into a deep dive into health and to planning, we'll slow down for a moment. Give you an opportunity, at least if you can, the question, who are you? What's the backstory? And what was that defining moment that led you to on this path that you're on now that you're so passionate about, which is making sure we're all super healthy? Very hard task you have, by the way. I don't envy you. But anyway, what's your backstory? Talk to us.
Backstory. Well, my backstory started when I was a little girl. When I was around 13 years old, I was overweight, uh, tipping the scales around 200 pounds, and taunted as obese Elyse. And I never liked the way I looked or felt. And I knew that certain foods in me we did not agree. And I grew up eating the standard American diet, which stands for, it's the acronym is SAD. And I ended up getting the standard American diseases, obesity, and an autoimmune disease. And at the age of 13, I went to my mom and I said, I want to change. I'm ready to change. I know I'm not supposed to look and feel this way. So fast forward, she got me connected to a holistic nutritionist, and we really took some time to co-create a plan and start to get rid of all the processed junk foods and start to bring in some more whole, real foods. And I took this plan and put it into action. I was ready. I was committed. It was important enough to me because guess what? I was in a lot of physical pain and a lot of mental and emotional anguish. And I did not have a lot of great coping skills to deal with, all of that. So I took this plan, put it into action, and within 2 months of just eating whole, real foods, that was really the simplest thing that we did, I lost 50 pounds. And it wasn't about necessarily the weight. That was an amazing side effect. It was more about, I had this insight and this aha moment of like, wow, food is medicine. And I want more people to understand this. And like, I feel so great. I want other people to feel this way too. And that was back in 2000. So about 24 years ago. And I had this aha moment, right? Food is medicine. But then I had this other deeper burning question that's still keeping me going to this day is we have so much information at our fingertips, right? Now more than ever. But yet we are one of the sickest countries. not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. We are, in a way, broken. And why is that? And so I've been on this journey to really help myself and heal myself and learn all the skills and the tools, not just from, uh, food and eating and exercising, but the mental and emotional skills and the habit changes and changing belief systems from within. What can we do on the inside that's in our control, so that we can live a more, happier, healthier, more successful life? And it turns out you can do a heck of a lot. And a lot of these things that you can do are really free to you, and they're within your control. And what I also learned is it takes a little bit of some vitamin C and D, not the vitamins that you're probably used to hearing about, but vitamin C in terms of consistency and of discipline. So that's a little bit of my background. It led me to become a holistic nutritionist, a licensed mental health counselor. It led me to found one of the largest health coaching schools in the world. And now it's led me onto this mission to really bring more health and happiness and well being, because it's really about this holistic perspective to the world through my books and my programs and all the other good stuff.
I love it. I love how you shared that. And as you were talking about health, I was wondering, for the folks that are watching, like Shay, what is her plan before we get into the real plan for someone like myself? A number of these folks, they're like, well, I want to let her know first that I'm a full time job with really responsibilities. I'm also a full time entrepreneur. She's talking about health and trying to eat right. So hopefully she has a plan for this, Shay. I also have kids, Shay, and my kids have schedule. And I've got a husband and I've got a wife. And oh, by the way, can she also be aware that I'm involved in my community? Some people are involved in their church activities. They're like, I've got a lot going on. So eating just is very hard for me to prioritize eating because I got to feed everybody else. And I'm always the last one to look at myself. Now, this is a loaded question. I get it. But the question really is, what do you say to that busy person that has all those responsibilities? And so their health suffers, not because they don't want to, but because they feel like they're busy taking care of everyone else. I guess my question is, what do you say to that person? What's one or two ideas you have for them? Again, I know it's loaded, but if you have offer any advice, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be, I'm not so much an advice giver. I'm going to give you a question to kind of think about, but I do want to present an idea shift, an opportunity, if you're open to it, which is right now, as you said, right? We, as the people in our communities and entrepreneurs and parents and caregivers of such, etc., we put everyone else at the top, or we're taking care of everyone else, and our stuff gets to the bottom and not taken care of. Well, I want to encourage you, and I know this, we're going to go big and then I'm going to bring it to a practical step. But I want to encourage you to think about how can you flip that paradigm, because right now, if that's how the paradigm is, where all the energy goes to the top and you're not really getting any, and there's not enough time to really nourish yourself, then how can we flip that paradigm upside down? So it starts with you first. Now, let me give you a couple examples to make it like real life practical, because that was me probably back in 2017. I was running two companies, brand new mom, had a brand new baby at home. I was a new wife as well. And, on top of that, I had a lot of my own health issues that I had to, balance. And instead of looking in the fridge, right, for chocolate or all the answers, I had to really look within myself. And I asked myself this question: what is just one thing that I could start my day with? Because I realized really fast that if I left, like, let's just say exercising, for example, till later in the day, forget it. It would never get done. But when I was able to start and put myself first, which society, culture sometimes tells us, hey, don't do that. That's selfish. That's, you don't want to do that. I'm saying, no, it's actually self preservation. You have to do that in order, you're giving so much of yourself to others that it's okay. to give to yourself and start filling your own cup up first. So the question is really, how much time, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but how much time are you willing and able to set aside for yourself just each morning? Maybe it's every morning. And I really want you to answer this question for yourself. Is it 1 minute? Like, be super realistic. Is it 5 minutes? Maybe 3 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Um, I started with 5 minutes a morning. I would start and I would meditate for 1 minute. I would stretch for 1 minute. I would do read for 1 minute. And I would write for 1 minute. And I would do gratitude for 1 minute. And that left me feeling successful. It left me feeling in a happier space where I felt a little bit more accomplished just, within the first 5 minutes of waking up. And I was able to rinse and repeat that routine and plan that into my daily schedule. And if that's all I got done, I felt really, proud about that. And by doing that a little bit each day, I was able to create a little bit more capacity. Now, where am I at? Now, this was back in 2017. So, just for everyone listening, you've got to start somewhere. And you just have to take the smallest, next, most nourishing step. You don't have to start with, now I do an hour, but I also get up at 4:45 or 5 a.m. to do that. I'm not telling anyone to do this, right? I'm not an advice giver. You know your life and your health the best. So you've got to really, look and see, well, what am I willing and able to do? What do I want to really do? That's a great question to ask yourself too. What do I want to do? Because if you don't want to do it, not really good. Probably not going to. So it was a long-winded answer, but something to really think about and ask yourself.
And as you was talking, I'm curious. I can hear the excitement. I can hear the energy. You can hear the passion just coming through these fiber optic lines. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, I can hear the excitement there. What do you enjoy most about it?
What I enjoy most is really, really being with the people who I'm supporting, creating a safe, uh, non-judgmental space for groups. Right now, it's mostly women who are just like you said, they're taking it all on. They're doing all the things for everyone else. And we get to have these like tomorrow morning, Thursday mornings are our little coaching calls, our group coaching calls. We all come on and we first start out the coaching call with the wins. And as people have moved through the content, and a lot of people come into my programs and they start with, I want to lose weight. I don't like how I feel. I feel like a failure, or they might be body shaming themselves, or just I call it body hating, but or yo-yo dieting. But when we really uncover and get to what I call the root cause of what's really stopping them, which is their belief systems, those are the best moments where we can have these aha moments of like, okay, I can see where this belief of like, I'm not good enough is showing up in how I'm not exercising or working out, or eating the right way for me. So I love just supporting people and really discovering their own internal well of wisdom within. We all have it. We just get to tap into it. It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love your energy. I love where you're coming from. I love how you have a heart to give and a heart to serve. And you may have heard this before, and I'm maybe restating it to a number of you, but you may have heard that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. And having said that, what do most people struggle with most? They struggle with consistency. So somebody may be listening saying, God, this all sounds great, Shay, but what is her plan to be consistent? Because life is a series of being on track, off track, and I seem to be more off track than on track. But while she's here, um, what's her plan to help us, or plan to be consistent?
Okay. I do have a tool. I can share it with everyone.
Yes.
It is I guess it would be a mini plug, but I would be remiss if I didn't share this tool with you. So, uh, back when I was sharing back in 2017, when I was really struggling with putting myself first and being consistent with some of the habits I really wanted to instill in my daily life that were important to me, I looked at all the different planners out there. Okay. And the one thing I did not want to be on or in front of was this thing. I wanted a space where I could just kind of come, be with my own thoughts, and write down what I needed to do. And so all the planners out there were just, geared towards meetings and schedules and all that kind of stuff. And none of them really focused on self care and your lifestyle. And if you think about it, you're an entrepreneur or a dual entrepreneur. Uh, you're focused on perhaps building wealth, right? Well, to me, the foundation of wealth is your health. Because if you don't have your health, what do you really have? Now, I'm someone who has been in a space where I really struggle with my health. I mean, there was days where I couldn't even think clearly or, go to work or do things because I was so I had a foggy, brain and all this kind of stuff. And so if you don't have your health, you don't have a lot. But this is a real tool. You are getting the this is the uh, not for sale version, but if you go on Amazon, there is a you're able to grab this. But this is a real tool that really supports individuals in planning for their health, their self care, their lifestyle, and keeping it consistent and really putting a plan together. And again, getting consistent with it every single day. I'm just trying to get to like a daily thing. If you were to put that one thing that you were going to focus on, and I encourage you really, sometimes we want to do it all, and I get it. 1 to 2 things a day, whether it's going for a walk for 20 minutes, get specific, schedule in your self care. I have a mantra: when it's scheduled, it happens. When your self care is scheduled,
Mm.
when it doesn't, guess what? It doesn't happen. Same thing with meetings, right? If you don't schedule a meeting, probably not going to happen. Same thing with your health. So it's all about starting to really prioritize yourself and just do one small thing a day. Even if it's, you want to track your water, go ahead, track your water. You want to, focus on something around your health, circle that. Maybe you say, meditate for 3 minutes or go for a walk for 3 minutes or whatever you want. You get to create it. It's your life. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. But just get started with a plan and experimenting and see what sticks. And you might have to modify, but we got to get a little comfortable with just getting started and experimenting.
I
So,
love it, by the way. And ladies and gentlemen, not only does she talk about it, but she has a system that you can plug right into and you could use, by the way. One of my favorite questions to ask when we have time, we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever been given? Now, it's a loaded question, ladies and gentlemen, so let me frame it for her that she's had a lot of mentors along this journey of life, I'm sure, read more books than she could probably remember. So we're not asking her to walk off the mountaintop with the 10 Commandments or anything, but I'm just curious if she thinks about all the best pieces of advice she's been given, what's one of them that's near and dear to her heart that she would share with you? And you get to lean forward now because you get to walk away with something that she holds near and dear with her. So here's the question: what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given, and why?
mm, the one that is coming up to me, for you all, is to go slow to go fast. Go slow to go fast. So I'm sure you all can figure out what that means, but I think sometimes in this fast-paced world that we are living in, um, with all the technology that's going on, it is light years beyond, I believe, where our bodies are physiologically and biochemically, wired to be. And so when it comes to, I know our businesses, we can often be in a really high paced environment. And that's fun and that's wonderful. And then we also have to come back to our health and our well being. And it's a little bit of a different, it's a little yin and yang. It's a little bit of an energy difference. So my encouragement is to go slow, especially when you're starting to build out a new habit. The College of London did a really landmark study, and they talked about that it takes 66 days to really instill a habit. And so to be consistent with it for 66 days. And the start of it kind of is messy, and that's okay. In the middle is, um, you know, you're going to fall off track. You need to get back on. But if you keep with it with that consistency, if you have a plan for how you're going to implement it and you go slow and you start to kind of refine along the way, that habit is just going to become part of you. And then you can move on to the next habit. That one will just kind of be automaticized, it'll just be ready to go. So go slow to go fast.
I love it, man. I love it. Thanks so much. We certainly appreciate it. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, helping people be healthy and happy and successful? I mean, what do you do for fun? All those books behind you. I know we see the books on your bookshelf and everything. It's real, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that's a screen. That's real stuff behind her. So we're all curious, like, what do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world?
So I love to read. I do love to read. But when I'm not reading, and what really brings me to the highest space of joy is, of course, being with my daughter. But I also love being with my horses. That is just a phenomenal feeling. So horseback riding, I don't even need to be on the horse. It's just being around them is just such a beautiful feeling. So.
That is so cool. As we come to first, let me say thanks a lot for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. As we come down the home stretch, the last two questions I have is number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days? If your firm is taking on any clients, I'm not sure. And number two, how can folks connect with you? How can they stay in the conversation so they can be part of your tribe and what you're doing? So two-part questions. How can folks best connect with you? And obviously, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days?
Yeah, I love this question. So I guess I'll answer the first question first. So right now, who I am mainly working with is high achieving women who are also caregivers. Maybe they are providers as well, like healthcare providers and or moms, entrepreneurs, etc. But they are so used to giving themselves, just like you said at the beginning, to everyone else, and they're kind of really lacking the accountability and prioritizing their own health and their self. And they're also maybe feeling a little bit like they're struggling, like a failure. Maybe they've done decades of diets or therapy or read all the self-help books, but they're just not getting the sustainable, consistent results that they're really looking for. So that's really who I serve. And we've got a new round of my program. This is my proven process that I've personally used on myself. And we've got a new round going and opening up for our fall coming soon. So how you can stay connected with me, which I would absolutely love. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Hop on over to my website. It's ElyseWagner.com. And if you scroll to the bottom, there is an opportunity for you to get on our EW Insider, where I'm just going to share all the good stuff. I've got a weekly well-being newsletter full of wisdom that you can hop onto, and that's where you're going to get the deets when we open different classes and different opportunities. So yeah, please stay connected if this is serving you at any level. I would love to stay connected with you all.
You're awesome. And shout out, I'm glad we were able to connect through Amy Walker and that program that we were on together as well. She's amazing. Thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. We know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you're giving us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I hope this served you.
Indeed it has. And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, there is no show, by the way. So we appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, it's kind of cool when you hit the like button, but more importantly, hit the share button. Like hit that share button and pay this forward to your community, to someone else that could benefit. They want more health. They want better health. They want more happiness. At the end of the day, they really want to be successful. So pay this message forward. I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you are amazing, that you really are awesome, that you're just super incredible world changer. You're a game changer. And I believe that today is your January 1st. You get a fresh start. So because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. They ain't seen it. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name still is Che Brown. Hadn't changed. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And we'll make some good things how we connect again next time. God bless. Thanks so much, Elyse. We appreciate it. Peace, everybody.
Thank you so much.